okay, and you gave birth in a hospital? I said, no, I had him at home. And she was like, okay, you had him at home. I heard her go out and she was like, what's the code for a home birth?
Daddy's phone right there. Oh, my baby. Oh, my baby.
There we go. Hi.
I love the leaf background.
Okay, it's giving.
So how long have you been subbed to our channel?
I think since my pregnancy with Lohia, my 20-month-old, so I'd say over a year.
Wow, that's so cool.
And I actually watched 2 of your birth vlogs and I was like, wait, what? How even?
That is so cool. And then I saw your birth pop up and I'm like, wow, it's a beautiful birth.
A lot. It was heavily influenced by a bad experience.
Okay.
But then also just, doing my research and learning and finding out that it can be different. And, watching your videos and seeing some of the stuff you post on Instagram was definitely very inspiring to me. It definitely helped.
I love that. What happened in your previous one?
So before I got pregnant with my 20-month-old, we had a bad experience at a hospital. So I'm from Hawaii. So moving here, this was my first, I live in Washington now. Okay. This was my first pregnancy, in a different state. So I'm like, okay, I got to find a hospital. I got to do all the things. Mm-hmm. And it was just such a stressful experience. They mixed up my blood test with someone else's blood test. So it was just so stressful, and it was only about 8 weeks. And I actually ended up losing that pregnancy. And I feel like it was just due to the stress of all of it, mixing me up with someone else and kind of just, it was not pleasant, basically. And so moving forward from there, when we were still kind of trying to figure out how do we move forward from this, I don't want to have that experience again. I told my husband, I think I'm gonna look into natural birth. Do people still do that? I was so unsure. I had no clue, but I did. I started doing my research and I found a doula. Then I found a birth center and it kind of just went from there. Mm-hmm. Best decision I've ever made.
Wow.
Real quick, right before we get to the rest of this beautiful birth video, if you are planning an unassisted birth, join the Legacy Birth program by going to legacybirth.com. Book a call so we can see if we can be available for your due date. 2, you're going to attend the call. 3, you're going to train and prepare. 4, you are going to have your baby. Number 5, you're going to heal during postpartum as well as register the birth of your baby. So if you are planning an unassisted birth, go to legacybirth.com to book a call.
Sure.
Was he on board right away or was?
Yes. 100%. The experience was so traumatizing for both of us, like him seeing how much it affected me. And when I said, I really want to look into this natural birth thing, he was like, whatever you feel like would be best for you, because I'm the one that's gonna carry the baby. And he was like, I support you 100%. And now he's like the biggest advocate. He's like, anyone who will listen, anyone we talk to, he was like, do it, natural birth. He did it. Yeah. He's such a huge advocate for that now.
Sorry to hear about your previous loss.
No, it's okay. I mean, I've never experienced something like that. And, going into the natural birth era of my life, talking to my midwives and my doula, and I was like, I don't know why it happened. They're like, no one can really explain why things like that happen, but they said the stress for sure, could have played a huge factor in that. And I never even thought about that. I've never been that stressed before, like during a pregnancy, and it really did mess with me a lot mentally.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. Like, we're so connected to our babies, like they can feel everything. And like, if they know, like if your body's not in a good state at that present time, it's not the right time. And even God knows too. He knows like if it's not the best time for you right now. But then it's just so sad and unfair, because it's like, but no. Right?
I was kind of in like disbelief. I was like, no, like, and the way this particular doctor went about telling me was so cold. It was just like, so after all of the mix up and all this stuff is going on, I didn't get an apology. It wasn't like, sorry, we made a mistake, like, what can we do to fix it or make you more comfortable? It was, well, we need you to come back in and we need to do another ultrasound. I was like, okay, sure. And like during the ultrasound, she was like, looks like you lost the pregnancy. This is what you have to do, XYZ, and we'll take care of it. I was like, wait, what? Can we go back? It was literally just that cold.
Wow. So how soon after did you conceive?
So that was in May, I believe. In May, and I think it took like 2.5 months, and I conceived again.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. I was very nervous at first. I'm so sorry.
Because you're nervous if it's gonna happen to get.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
It was hard to almost enjoy the beginning of that pregnancy because you're nervous, but then you don't want to be stressed because stress is bad.
The whole pregnancy was stressful. Like you said, you can't really enjoy because in the back of your head you're just like, I don't want to, if I like, everything affects the way you feel and how you're carrying your baby, like I can't do this, like there's all the typical things you can't do while you're pregnant and whatever, but it's like compounded because you're like thinking like, okay, if I do this then it could happen again. So the whole time I'm just like
conscious of everything. You don't want to tell people to, because like you wait till you pass the mark where you were before.
Yep, exactly.
The things we go through.
Yeah, didn't want to shop for baby clothes. We didn't start shopping for baby clothes until it was almost 30 weeks.
Wow.
Because I was like so scared. I hit 20 weeks and I was like, okay, I think I feel comfortable. But then every time I would go and look at clothes, I'd be like, oh, but what if? Like, what if? So I finally, once I was almost 30 weeks, allowed myself to be like, okay, no, everything's fine. We're good. We're pretty far along. So yeah.
So while you're watching the videos, what piece of advice do you feel like was the most helpful for you?
Honestly, the way you go about it mentally, like you're thinking in the process and while you're pregnant. One thing that stuck out to me about your videos, I was like, is she really this like pain-free? Is she really this happy, like enjoying labor? This is like the hardest thing we have to deal with. I was like, I don't know. But I was like going through my natural journey, so I was still learning and going through it like the entire time. And I was like, well, there might be something to it, because after I had him, we looked back at my labor footage from my 20-month-old, And I was like, wow, I did that in 7 hours. And I was in pain, yes, but I was trying to tell myself, you can do it. You can do it. You got it. You got it. You got this. It's fine. Women are made to do this. And I did it. And I was like, what? Okay. She put me onto something here. And then my labor with our next one, with Lilo, our newest one, that was like, I barely felt any pain. Like I was literally, I might have been like wincing here and there, but like it didn't feel painful. It was just like, okay, here comes another one. Here we go. And even my mother-in-law was like, you didn't even look like you were in pain.
Wow.
And I really wasn't. It's so crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy how like it opens your mind up, right? Like once you find that information and you accept it as being possible, then it can happen for you, and then you don't go back after. It's just like,
oh no,
you don't go back. And then if you give birth again, you're gonna be even better the next time.
Oh yeah, I 100% believe that. So this is my third time giving birth naturally, like without medication wise, but this last time was my second time, like actually with no medication, barely any assistance, kind of just doing it my own way. And with my 20-month-old, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then when it got into the next one, I was like, anytime this baby comes, I'm ready. Like it can be a Tuesday night, it can be, I didn't even care, because I was like, I know I'm going to be fine. It's going to be pain-free and I'm going to be good.
Yes.
And looking back on the footage, I was like smiling and laughing, like in between contractions. My mother-in-law was like, you were just talking like you're fine. Cause I literally felt fine. It really does blow your mind. My mind was blown. I was like, I can't believe I just gave birth at home in a birth pool. And I was just kind of like, ow, like barely anything.
How was your healing?
Very fast.
Amazing.
Super fast. Like I obviously you're on bed rest and whatever, but I feel like the only thing that kind of shook me a little bit was the cramps afterward.
Yeah.
But that was it. Like other than that, I felt great. Like the very next day I got up, I took a shower, I was doing the things, taking care of the baby, and I felt so good. Like I felt alive, I felt happy, I was appreciative that it went so well.
And what was your favorite part about your birth?
I think it was him actually leaving my body. To be honest, that's what I was looking forward to, was just having my body back for myself. That was definitely my favorite part. As soon as he came out, I was like, yeah. I think you can see it in the video. I was like, yes.
If you were to meet somebody who was about to give birth naturally at home, like you said, every single time someone comes up to you, your husband's like the biggest advocate. But like, let's just say like they were going to be giving birth tomorrow. And they're like, yeah, giving birth naturally at home. Like, what should I do? Like, do you have any tips or advice for me? What's that one tip or advice that you would give them?
I would probably say prepare yourself mentally. That's like the most important part, I feel like, because your body will follow. Like whatever you tell your body to do, your body's going to do, and your body naturally knows how to have a baby. So I would feel like really mentally prepare yourself, but allow yourself to enjoy it too, because I mean, you like built this baby and now you're about to bring it into the world. So don't think anything negative, just be positive.
I love that.
I had to learn that myself, like with my 20-month-old, my doula was like, it's all in your mind. You have to tell yourself, I'm going to have an amazing birth. It's going to be beautiful and pain-free. I can do it. And I was like, really? I just got to tell myself all these things and it's going to be great. But it really was, though. Once I really told myself, this is what I'm going to do. And I gotta tell myself, I have to tell myself that I can do it and push myself to do it. And to anyone that has asked me recently and with my my other baby, how did you do it? Like, wasn't it painful? Wasn't it scary? Literally, the nurse at my pediatrician's office,
Uh-huh.
she was like, she didn't even know what to say. She was like, asking all the newborn questions, da da da, whatever. And she was like, okay, and you gave birth in a hospital? I said, no, I had him at home. And she was like, okay, you had him at home? I said, yes, I had a home birth. And she was like, okay, no medication? I said, no, no medication. She was like, huh. Like,
And
it was the
nurse
weirdest
was like,
thing.
what?
I was like, yes, people do that. It's actually the way we're meant to give birth. We're not supposed to go to the hospital, you know? She was like, her mind was blown. I heard her go out and she was like, what's the code for a home birth? Like, they'd never even heard about it before. It's so silly.
Wow, that's great. That's Washington, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That is,
It is shocking.
yeah, it's shocking, especially as a pediatrician. You would think that they would see a lot more. People go in there for medical births, so that's all they see. So it's like so shocking when you see something else.
Yeah.
But like, come on, the code for home birth.
I was like, do they know that I can hear them? Like trying to figure out how do you even put this into the system? I'm like, because I had my oldest when I was 17. And I was pumped full of a whole bunch of things I couldn't tell you the name. I have no clue what they did. They just came into the room and were like, we're doing this and we're doing that and we're going to do it this time and we're going to do it that time and you're going to be laying in the bed. And I was just like, okay, I'm not 18, so I couldn't really make the decisions. And I really do feel like that had an effect on me, on my son. And never again. Basically never again.
Yeah. But I love how you were able to experience both. You know, you're like a vessel now that can teach other people, like, listen, I did it this way and this is how I felt. And then I did it this way and this is how I felt. And I prefer this. It really helps people to learn from your experience. And you're absolutely right about birth being about the mental and your mindset. Like birth is 80% mindset, 20% strategy and positions and stuff like that. And a lot of the times when a mom hears that, like when you said your doula was like, it's all about the mind, you're like, really? I just got to be in the mind. But because people
100%.
think, yeah. I think when somebody says mindset, it's like fluff, like, oh, not about the mindset again. But it truly is that it is about the mind. Like your mind is going to bring you through. Like you said, your body already knows what to do. Like when your baby's in your stomach, you're not telling your stomach to grow a placenta, it's just doing it on its own. It's the same thing with birth. Your body it'll thin the cervix, it'll open the cervix, it'll bring baby down, and all you have to do is just let it do its job. So I love that.
You know, that's the other thing too, is that I feel like this time I just let my body do what it needed to do. With my my second to last labor that I had at the birth center, although it was beautiful and it was natural and it was amazing, towards the end, like once I felt the pressure to push, I did have like a little piece of me was like, oh no, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is like I was fighting against it because I was scared. And I was like, oh, did I make the right decision? Oh my God, this is tough. But with this last one, I literally was just let's go, let's do it. Do whatever you got to do. And I didn't fight at all. There was no resistance, especially when it came time to push and I felt the pressure. My midwife was like, whenever you feel the contraction, go ahead and push. And I was like, okay. So I just sat my little butt in that pool, and anytime I felt a contraction, I was like, okay, here we go. And I just went with it. Literally, he just popped right out.
Wow.
Okay.
I did that.
I did that. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I love it. So where can everyone find you?
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Miss Diva Honey. And same thing on TikTok. And then YouTube is Miss Chris.
Miss Chris.
MISS Chris. Yep.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and sharing your birth story and also this interview. You were like a little bit of a surprise for me. I wasn't expecting you to be such this ray of energy and like
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm a lot.
So you made my afternoon. So I'm happy.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. When you reached out to me, I was like, shut up. No, really? She don't know. I've been watching her videos. So I was like, honey, oh my God, honey. I was telling my husband, and he was like, what? What's going on? So yes, thank you. Thank you. This has been amazing.
You're welcome. So we'll be in touch on Instagram and then you'll see this on YouTube.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You guys have a good day.
Yes. Bye, Chris.
Bye. Thank you.